Last week on Film Fights.
Oh, thanks for mansplaining that to me, all right, Freddie Prinze. I have glasses. I've got overalls. I'm good. I don't need your help. My dad cleans pools. We're doing just fine.
You know, Rachel Lee Cook had glasses that made her see all kinds of things, but could she see why kids love Cinnamon Toast Crunch?
Okay, if you hit the ground, don't make a sound.
Yeah.
But if you get hit by a chandelier, don't worry, you're in the clear.
Yeah.
It doesn't have leverage. It can't hurt you.
Exactly. No concussion, so don't make a discussion. 10 things I hate about you are: 1, you get 0 play. 2, you a bear. Number 3, 10.
What? And now for the exciting conclusion of the Film Fights Triple Threat Rom-Com Valentine's Time Special. Right now.
Hello, lovely spectators, and welcome to a very special mini episode of Film Fights. I am your fearless host, not hero, Jono Rodriguez. And with me, of course, is my churlish, always tricking me into thinking I'm going to say host. Instead, I say hero, and then I say host anyway. Co-host, Conrad Hartman.
I didn't do a fucking thing. I'm just sitting here doing my job, which is to not talk for 30 seconds.
And let me prattle on like a psycho. No,
It says in the synopsis of the episode, Conrad shuts up for 30 seconds while Jono says his piece.
No. Okay, so just peeling back the curtain real quick. I don't remember if it's left in on a lot of episodes where I say hero instead of host, but it is a common problem of mine. Those who have dyslexia can understand.
Once again, those who have dyslexia understand that's not what dyslexia
Yes, it is. I looked this up because I was so mad that you kept saying that's not true. There are different stages of dyslexia, and one of them is confusing words for other words, especially when we're on the spot on a podcast.
It's just called being an idiot.
No, I refuse to believe I am that. So
you're not. I'm just kidding.
So sometimes I say I am your fearless hero instead of host.
And you know, I think you think that I'm antagonizing you by saying like host at the beginning. But
I know.
I promise I'm trying to help. I'm not really. In this one instance, I'm not trying to make fun of you.
Well, how about you help with this? Don't.
Just dare.
Just dare.
You know, from the previous episode.
Yeah. Well, this is the thrilling conclusion. So.
From the previous part of this episode.
Yeah. What are you listening to this episode before listening to the last one? What are you like watching No Time to Die before you watch Spectre? I did that. Mistake. So I'm just giving you a little bit of warning.
Yeah. What are you watching? Child's Play 8 Chucky Lives before you watch Child's Play 1 A New Hope? What are you doing?
A New Hope for dolls that don't kill us. Wait, it's the first one? We didn't know that was a problem.
The others are prequels. The first 3 Child's Plays happen, and then Child's Play 4 is a prequel. Yeah, Child's Play 4, The right. Phantom Doll.
The Foul-Mouthed Menace.
That's right. Chucky Mall.
Chucky Mall. Just like Darth Chucky, I think, because Chucky Mall indicates that he's like a bear.
No, because Darth Chucky's in the original one.
Oh, right. I forgot. Played by Darth Insidious.
And they also had Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah.
He's the same character from Star Wars.
Yeah, he's just there. He gets killed immediately, which a lot of
don't like this doll come to life.
Yeah, well, I don't like you. And I think I speak for everyone in the audience. Nobody else does.
Seeing that movie was the first time I've seen a movie audience cheer so loud they paused the movie and rewound it in the theater.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You go to your Blockbuster. Be careful which tape you rent because they're all going to be worn out in that spot. So, Conrad, what is it that we are supposed to be doing on this show, and what makes this show different?
Well, according to our contract with Funny Ears, we're supposed to be taking two movies and pitting them against one another in a brutal grudge match, with one coming out on top to reign supreme. But we decided, to heck with it, we're going to tack on a third movie in our rom-com triathlon series. Yeah. If you'll recall, last week we did 10 Things I Hate About You versus She's All That in 1-1. But this week it just made sense for us to have a little Singlie episode, just a little mini guide, just a little digestif of an episode, if you will, a little fernet of an episode. And we're going to be talking about a send-up that includes a parody of both of those two previous movies. And this movie is, of course, called American Pie. No, it's called Not Another Teen Movie.
Like that you paused.
Because
you weren't even sure that's what it was called. It's like, wait a minute.
I was going to say Not Another Teen Things I Hate About You. Oh, that'd be good. Not another 10 things I hate about you. I hate so many things about you.
like not another time I know what you did last summer.
That's like those porn parodies where they're like, not the Flintstones, or like, not Scary Movie.
What? There's a porno version of the parody of Scream?
I'm not going to say there definitely is. But I'm definitely going to say there is for sure.
Yeah. Instead of her name being Cindy, it's send me your cock. Send me your cock. See, I did it. I'm a regular porno writer. And then what happens? Oh, they do it. Okay, so.
Yeah, she's all splat, more like it. This is welcome to Film Fights After Hours.
After dark. So we're throwing in a third movie of we're making a trilogy, but it's split in two parts.
Listen, it's like when you take a pie.
Sure.
And you cut it in half.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, but the people that are coming over is a number of people divisible by 3. And so then you're like, I know what you're thinking. Just cut it into 6. No, there's 18 people coming over.
You can still do that. You would just have it after that.
No, it'll look weird.
Then get another pie.
No, I made this and they're coming over now.
Why? When are you in a situation where the number of guests have tripled?
No, they did more than triple, because at first I just cut it down the middle because I thought it was 2 people that were going to be there, and it's 2 pieces of pie.
I like the idea that you're like, oh, there's just 2 of us. I have a whole pie. Well, they're going to get a whole half of a pie.
Yeah, I'm not trying to scrimp. I'm not trying to shortchange them. They're coming over for the pie.
Oh, it's a mincemeat pie. It's like a dinner thing.
No. It's a classic peanut butter pie.
Oh, okay. I love those.
With a meat filling.
But you're vegetarian.
It is not good.
Oh.
So I have to divide it up even more so that everyone only has to choke down a little tiny piece. So 18 people are coming. I need to cut it into 43 pieces because one person is going to be eating even less.
And then you have to have a bunch of napkins everywhere and trash cans so they can pretend to cough, but then spit it out and then throw it away.
Oh, remember that scene in Not Another Teen Movie where they're eating a pie that's cut into 43 pieces?
Yeah, I thought that's what we were talking about. So we saw not another teen movie, I think is what you're trying to
Yeah,
say.
that's true. While I was choking down my peanut butter and ground meat pie. And so while this parodies a lot of teen movies from the era.
Well, I would argue that there's a lot of references.
Sure.
But the main parodies are going to be, I'd say it's probably closer to 3 or 4 main actual storylines.
Sure.
The main 2 being, of course, last week's episode. So check it out.
Yeah, they're making fun of film fights the whole time. One of them's like, "Oh, my name's Bono," and it's like, "Yeah, my name's Stupid Rad." I'm like a little on the nose.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. They've got Bono actually playing
they
you.
do, yeah.
He's like, "Oh, I'm very funny on my podcast."
Wait, which Bono though?
Wait, are there multiple?
Yeah, there's Sonny Bono, and then
he's dead.
And then there's Bobo the gorilla.
Oh, like check out the Bobos on Super Freak.
Yeah. Check out the Bobos on Bono.
I love the lovely spectators are listening to this thing. And do you need us here for this?
No, we are your audience, okay?
Yeah.
Oh, no, you are our audience. It just,
Yeah, specifically, that's what I was going on to say was that though this makes fun of a lot of teen movies from the era, it is very much specifically She's All That and 10 Things I Hate About You parried simultaneously.
Yes. They got a lot of all these poor actors. They're pulling double and in some cases triple or quadruple duty, depending on the scene and the parody. Because, of course, we have the Jason Biggs character, because this is the American Pie situation where you have the 3 friends, they're trying to lose their virginity before they die or whatever.
Before they die?
Whatever, who cares? And he's, even though he's clearly looks like Anthony Michael Hall from 16 Candles because of the braces and the hair, but in the Breakfast Club parody scene, he's the Judd Nelson character.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I see. They needed a Judd Nelson character in here, and he was the one that fit the bill.
And
even
unfortunately,
though
Judd Nelson wasn't available because he was old.
No, yeah, he wasn't available, unfortunately. But Paul Gleason was, and he comes in there, and he's all like, you mess with the bull, you get fucked by the bull. Like in Top Secret. Another parody movie. Did you know that Val Kilmer was in that movie?
Oh, my God.
In fact, everyone knows Jono. So, you have the American Pie Boys, the APB. They're trying to get laid, and great casting in this movie. I'll say that for free. Really awesome casting. I think.
Oh yeah,
especially lookalikes like the sensitive boy from the American Pie looks exactly
Chris Klein character.
Like,
yeah.
Oh, he looks like him too.
Well, that's who that played that.
Oh, I thought he looked like Jason Biggs. He could have passed for a Jason Biggs lookalike contest.
Well, he was playing the Chris Klein character.
No,
the
I
guy
know.
Who was like, no, I just want to be in love.
No, I know. I was being a goof. He obviously doesn't look like Jason Biggs at all.
I just thought maybe you were face lexic.
Oh, I see. Well, I appreciate you being sensitive.
I'm trying to be awakened or whatever.
Okay, Death Clock.
I'm doing my best, Jono, okay?
You are, and I super appreciate it. That was on purpose. That's right. Even Dyslexia.
Oh, so you're making fun of... You can make fun of...
I can make fun of me, yes.
Oh, I see.
I can say, I am dumb.
Oh, okay. Is that the end of your thought?
That's the end of the thought.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Great. So,
speaking of dumb,
and then I love this movie opens with the Laney Boggs character with the largest dildo.
Oh my God! Yeah,
in the world,
and it's called Lil. That's the Lil model.
Right. And the way that it operates, it does not look like it would be a pleasant experience to put inside of anything in your body.
But what she's specifically pleasuring herself To what film?
The ending of She's All That, which is actually arguably like the least sexy part of that movie, because it's the part where he's like, you save, I have the last dance. And she's like, you're going to have the first dance because I didn't dance with anyone.
No, he said, did you save the last dance? And she's like, wrong movie, dildo. Speaking of dildos.
And that's when she was like, oh, that's right. I just put batteries in my gigantic industrial-sized dildo.
Yeah, it looked like a puppet. It looked like a puppet made of putty, a putty puppet. And then Grandma and Priest and everybody walks in. And it's like, you know what? I get it. It's a parody of American Pie because, you know, he's embarrassed that because in American Pie, his parents come in
when he's got a huge vibrator shoved up his asshole.
Yeah, in fact, it's like a shot-for-shot remake.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
it's like the Vince Vaughn Psycho of parodies.
But she is so flustered and fluttered at the same time, and you know, she did great in this movie in general because she reminded me a lot of Anna Faris from Scary Movie. Just because it's like, I don't know who this person is, but they're nailing it. Like, they're so funny.
No pun intended.
Well, she didn't nail anybody.
Herself.
Oh, that's right. A self-nailing.
Self-nailing. That's like, Jesus is like, do I have to do everything myself? All right, well, someone's got to get this other hand for me.
He's like, look, I'm crucified for your sins, everybody. They're like, oh, whatever, dude. They're all just like walking by.
They're just eating latkes.
There goes Jesus, the performance artist over here. So yeah, that's how they start the movie, which you're like, oh, we're in for a good time. It's rated R. Yeah. We're doing this.
Her acting is great. I don't like the gross out stuff. And this is like,
no,
not that this was like that gross, but it was just like, okay, I get it. But she was great.
No, yeah, she. In fact,
the acting is good.
All the performances were like mostly very well done.
Better than I remembered.
Yeah, hits the mark. We have Chris Evans in one of his early roles.
Did not realize until this rewatch that he was even in this movie, and he's the main character.
And yes,
yeah.
And there's a reason why he became Captain America in real life. Because he's just like overflowing with charisma. Like even when he's introduced and he's walking down the hall and everybody's like, "Oh my God, Chris Evans, you're so hot, we love you." And he looks at a picture of himself on the wall and then he does that like head turn, like, "Yep, I'm pretty hot shit." Like it's like, oh my God,
and that
I
picture
love you.
of him on the wall is a picture of him looking at a picture of him.
Yeah. A lot of clever jokes. Like I think. This was kind of the end of days for parody movies.
Starring Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yes, that was a terrible parody of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
The devil.
Like, hey, if you're going to make a parody movie about Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, don't cast Arnold Schwarzenegger to play that character.
He's confronting the devil with a shotgun. He's like, the devil wears nada. Boom.
The devil wears blood. So this was a time when parody movies were coming back because, you know, we'd seen Naked Gun and Airplane, all that stuff. And so
that was like more like early 90s, right?
What?
Naked Gun?
Naked Gun. Well, it was late 80s,
early 90s.
I think the third one came out in 92 or 3.
Yeah, and this came out in 2001.
Yeah, this is 2001. And this is around the same time when parody movies were starting to like come back, but for the younger crowd, because I still feel that like the Zucker Brothers stuff is definitely kind of highbrow, lowbrow.
Totally,
where it's like it's that there are some lowbrow jokes in there, but they're just delivered so I don't know, like less cartoony, I guess.
So there's something to be said for smart comedy still being able to be juvenile.
Oh, absolutely.
Because, this is an old thought, but comedy is a lot harder than drama because in certain ways, because, drama is basically like taking a microscope and looking at life, whereas comedy is looking at it through a telescope, like from a distance. And so achieving that in a way that like, oh, wow, that's really clever, but also like we're still going to laugh at a fart joke.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it really, like, I know that sounds stupid, but it is true. Like elements of being playful and young and juvenile and elements of like, wow, that was really smart, that was really clever. Blending those together seamlessly is really difficult.
Oh yeah, and speaking to like something like a fart joke, like if it's a joke, it can still work.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's an afterthought, it never does.
See, that didn't work.
No, it
didn't.
Well, because like I do know that like even in like Nacho Libre, they admit that when there are moments in the movie that in the editing, like in the post, they were like, oh, this isn't very funny. Oh, let's just pump in a fart sound effect. And it's like, it feels like a post thing because you're just watching and it's like, okay, that's kind of, oh, why did he fart? And then why did no one acknowledge that he farted? It's weird.
Kind of like Bernard the Elf in 10 Things I Hate About You. My balls!
That fucking ADR.
When he falls down the ravine and he just says, my balls.
Like, and it's stupid to laugh at something like that because I'm not laughing at the intended comedy.
Right.
I'm laughing at the fact that like they just felt, oh, this needs a punch up.
Yeah.
Him driving down the ravine is like might seem kind of like, oh, it's too dangerous, but if he yelled out in a very comedic way,
my balls,
then that's when the laughs start happening.
Right.
But in this, there was a lowbrow joke, which is the grossest. I fucking hate. I hate.
Oh, I hate this
jokes
part.
about
this is
shit.
actually my least favorite part of the whole movie.
It's so gross. Like, I get it. It's oh, look, they're covered in shit. It's so gross. And even before that happens, when the girl is sitting on the toilet and
shitting,
and she's shitting
while she's flossing,
and she's like, "Oh, excuse me. Oh, goodness." You know. Like,
and also, who's she talking to?
Yeah, she's talking to the people who might be in the bathroom.
In case any hot younger boys are watching me, sorry, wink. Yeah.
And like you could argue that like, you know, that's like not funny, but it's at least cleverer than just shit where it's like, oh, a nice dainty girl is
and
gross.
It's not what they expected, and they're like, oh, this is not what I signed up for. And then one of them's like, this is exactly what I signed up for.
Yeah. He's gonna grow up weird.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know if you noticed, but they kind of like took that joke a step further after that, because when they're in the lunchroom, she, like, you see in the Anthony Michael dining hall, the lunch person, lady, man, or whatever, gets a spoonful of some kind of stew, chili, gross thing, slaps it on a plate, and then the camera pans up and it's her, and she's getting it, and it's like, oh, encore of this joke. Get it? That's why she shits.
Now, that's one of the 10 things I hate about stew.
Oh, did you guys not get that joke?
Oh,
tune in last week.
Yeah, tune in last week.
Don't watch No Time to Die without watching Spectre. I'm just saying.
That's weird that's your main example.
Oh, there's tons.
Oh, I know. That's why it's weird that you keep going back to that one.
Well, you can watch Army of Darkness without watching Evil Dead 2. That's a thing. Anyway. But No Time to Die?
You can watch He's All That without seeing She's All That.
No. I mean, you can?
I'm asking. You can?
No, actually, we're asking you guys. Battles at filmfightspodcast.com. Can you watch He's All That? Is that okay?
This movie had a lot of great music.
It did.
As did
it really
the other two movies did, but it was especially good in this because they used it very kind of subtly and smartly in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
The scene where Lamey Boggs or whatever is walking down the stairs and they play the same song. None the Richer song. I couldn't believe that they were like, yeah, that's cool. You can use it for this parody of the song.
Well, I mean, it's a song. It might have been the same studio that put out the movie.
They were like, listen, you poor people that are only 6 cents worth. I own your ass. Kiss me is mine.
Yeah, we're gonna use it for all the teen. They're like writhing their hands, like, oh, we're gonna use it in all the teen comedies.
You see fucking Thanos snap, and it doesn't work. And he looks over at Robert Downey Jr. and kiss me under the milky twilight.
Conrad's trying to make a reference to Thanos, and he doesn't watch those movies.
Yeah.
So
remember when Thanos is like snapping? He's like, "Oh, sixpence none the richer." That's my song.
And every time he snaps, somebody like doesn't exist anymore. They like turn to ash.
50% of 50% of 50% of 50%. So he's killing less and less people.
Yeah, overall it's less, but it's still half.
It's still more.
So using the same plot as the two movies. She's All That and 10 Things. The story is Chris Evans has to turn Lamey into a prom queen.
Into a limey.
Has to
make a British.
Has to turn Lamey into a Janie. And he does the Janie's Got a Gun, which, here's the thing. I thought... Okay, that was funny, right? Because
when he's recreating the scene from 10 Things I Hate About You by singing the song, but the only song he can think of with her name in it is Janie's Got a Gun.
Exactly. And so, like, that's funny on its own. But to me, I thought it was extra funny that, like, because a lot of times when I especially watch parody movies, I have to understand, like, how were they thinking about setting this up? And so they're like, hey, we need to parody this part where he says, Janie's Got a Gun. Well, when Heath Ledger did it, they're on the football field. Well, Janie is an art student, so why would she be on the field? It's like, because it's funny, and it is.
Yeah, so they're just painting
on the football field. It's like, so, to me, that's funny.
Yeah.
Because that also parodies that, because I think in both of those movies, or one of them, I can't remember, they blend together, there was a lot of stuff that happened on the football field. There was, and sometimes at the same time, you had people like running track, you had people playing soccer, you had other people, playing badminton or whatever. They were just, everybody was, it was an
you got the band playing the theme from The Simpsons.
Yeah. It was an all-purpose field. But yeah, that was good. And then there's some She's All That elements because you can't date
that's 10 Things.
That is 10 Things. The She's All That because of the little brother, right? Was that also 10 Things?
That was also that was She's All That.
That was yes, because Freddie Prinze was like
younger sister in 10 Things.
Yes.
God, we are fried.
Oh my God,
talking about these movies.
The point is, this movie was really cool.
Ding ding ding.
The point is, a lot of the, like there are some hit or miss stuff. I thought I think when because I did see this in the theater when it came out, and I thought it was funny, the Cruel Things parody, because it's like
Cruel Intentions.
Oh yeah, the
cruel things I hate about you.
Cruel things I hate about you. Well, you're mean to animals. One,
as we learned in our new segment last week.
Yeah.
I have to go back and listen to it.
Yeah, the 1-star review said, "Oh, mean to animals, I'm out." Yeah, because they did a combination of Never Been Kissed versus Cruel Things, Cruel Intentions. God damn it. Cruel Intentions, and it's an old woman. I guess it's an old woman.
Oh, who's playing the Never Been Kissed lady?
Like, this is her last movie.
Yeah, this is like Edith Barrymore. She had an old lady name.
Yeah. And
oh my God.
And Sarah Michelle knockoff is like, hey, let's kiss. And then they kiss, and it's gross.
Oh, this is like, it's very graphic.
It's really, it's unnecessarily gross.
Bunch of fake spit.
There's a lot of gross stuff in this movie. It's gross. But, you can like cover your eyes during those times.
And then she's like, now, you know how to eat pussy.
She's like, I'm old, not dead.
Yeah. I was eating pussy before we called it that. Back when we used to call it the old snatch holler.
Back when we called it the baby maker.
Back when we called it the devil's cavern.
Back when we called it no condoms allowed. So I wanted to say I love that they make mention of stuff. So like at the prom, one of the guys like, ugh, you'd never know that these were all professional dancers.
Yeah.
Which is a problem I have. I mean, we both have a problem with proms in which you hate live bands and I hate synchronized dances.
You could have just stopped at we hate proms.
We hate proms.
Yeah, and they're drinking martinis.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
But so I wanted to just ask real quick, Conrad, what was your favorite parody in this movie? Like, what do you feel probably worked the best in this?
Okay, I have two favorite things. One we've already talked about, which is painting on the football field, and Janie's got a gun. That's the scene I remember the most from this movie. Like before we rewatched it. But two, I loved the Varsity Blues stuff that's scattered in there. I loved that the character, the actor who played the heavyset guy in Varsity Blues that was getting concussed too often. Yeah. I loved that he played the same character in this movie, parodying his own movie. I loved the coach acting like John Voight chewing gum the whole time.
Yeah, he was like, God damn it.
And and he kept saying God damn it every 2 seconds. Yeah. And I loved the slow kid that shouldn't have been playing football getting torn in half.
Some really good effects there. You know? He's got entrails hanging out and everything. And of course, like they do a really good joke of like panning up, and it's like, oh, the top half made it across the line, so it's good.
What about you? What are your favorite parody things that work the best?
I liked the John Cryer parody, Pretty in Pink. It's the best friend who never gets paid attention to.
Oh, right, the guy in the quirky hat.
Yeah, and
silly pants.
Because like he's a total creep.
Thumb ring.
Yeah, and he says, "Oh, I made you this mixtape of all my favorite feelings, and I love you, and you're the best." And she goes, "Oh, thanks." And it cuts to like her locker filled with like all these mixtapes.
She just throws it in and shuts the.
Yeah. And so, his just performance across the board was great.
He was great.
He like kept being like, "Oh, I'm the best friend and I'm a creep." But the moment when at the prom when they're both going after her, they look at each other. And he's like, "No, you don't deserve to have her because I'm the best friend who's been patient and waiting this whole time, and I get to have her." And he goes, "Yeah, well, I'm the reformed jock who learned the error of his ways." And he looks at him and he goes, "Good point."
Yeah, he's like, "Damn it!"
And then there's just kind of a moment where they look at each other and they go after her. But that whole time, he's just like hitting, person after person, can't get there. But anyway, all that to say, my favorite parody, $2.
Yeah, from Better Off Dead.
It's Better Off Dead's my favorite movie ever. $2. I love it. Hated the shit.
Yeah, I hated the gross out stuff. I did love at the ending, Molly Ringwald, her bit where she's hearing the things that fake Freddie Prinze is saying to Lamey Boggs, and she's like calling him out like, "Are you kidding? That's a quote from She's All That." And then fake Lamey Boggs is like, "Hey, yeah, I jerk off to that movie every morning."
I loved like this is talking about how much I loved her acting in general, but I just love because like she has to do 3 things there. One, she has to be like, "Hey, yeah, I knew that sounded familiar," but then also be like, "Yeah, I jerk off to that movie." And then she has this moment of like where she's like embarrassed she said that out loud, and she's like, "Oh, I mean, no, whatever, everybody does it."
Molly Ringwald's like, "That's from Pretty in Pink," and they're like, "Really?" And she's like, "Trust me,
trust me, get it."
And it's like, okay, it's a little on the nose, but since it's a parody movie, it works.
Right, yeah. And then, of course, he says, "Oh, you know what? You should get on the plane. I don't give a shit. I'm just going to cheat on you anyway." And she goes, "You know what? I know you're lying because that's from Karate Kid." It's like, okay, that works. That's really funny. I like that. He gets the girl. And then, of course, slow clap.
Oh, yeah. I loved that that's set up in Comic Rule 3.
Yes.
The first time he tries to do a slow clap,
and then gets the rules.
Melissa
from,
Joan Hart's like, hey, man, you can't just start a slow clap. Got to do it at the right time. Then the second time, which, by the way, I actually thought was a good time for a slow clap.
What was the second time
It
again?
was during some football thing. And then
That's right.
then he finally, you get that resolution of the joke, and it's so satisfying.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's great. He took his fire, and then he beat him up. I did want to mention some of the other characters, which were great. You had Paul Notwalker. Paul.
He's not walking anymore, that's for sure.
Paul Don't Walk Run. But, which is weird because he looked like he could have been a Cary Elwes type character.
Yeah.
He looked like him. He spoke regally.
Yeah, I did think he was hot. I
Yeah.
mean, no, I said hot. Yeah, that's right.
He might have been the oldest one there.
Okay.
No, he was great. He just like had, that arrogant thing and he
The swagger.
Yeah, and the running joke where he was like, Mr. This and That. I can't even pull a reference to that.
Nailed
so
it.
we'll cut it. No, he was great. And you had Token Black Guy, which I loved that
he was super funny.
He was great. Some of his jokes started to kind of like wane, but that's not that's not his fault. That's just the writing. Yeah, because it's like because when he over explains it at the top, we're like, oh, I'm the Token Black Guy. I say stuff like this and this and this, and then he says it throughout the movie.
After a while, it's like, okay, joke landed.
Right, joke landed. It's like, okay, we get it, but his different hairstyles. I love.
So funny.
Oh, so great.
I like at the end when he's talking to not Freddie Prinze, to Chris Prinze, and Chris Prinze is like, you know what? You are a thoughtful, intelligent human being, and you do not get enough recognition or whatever. And he was like, thanks. And he's like, anyway, I gotta go.
He's like, motherfucker. No, but I love the musical. The musical at the end. Like, oh my God. Like
at the beginning.
Huh?
Or you're right. Yeah, it's like the beginning
prom,
of Act 3. Yeah.
The prom musical where they're just like, because it starts off like any good ensemble musical where it's just one character and they're just, oh, I'm just singing a song. And then it cuts to the other person. And, oh, I'm also singing. And then suddenly, and now we've got to get ready tonight and then got to get laid and kill all the kites. Flying a kite. That's what I said. I did say that.
Oh, I know.
Okay, well, and it like crescendos because they're all like, we're saying the things that we're gonna say, and now it's prom time tonight. And they all hold it, which is great.
Yeah, that's a really well done sequence. Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah. So yeah, A+.
Yeah. So in summation, for me, personally.
Yeah.
Just because of the shit and the gross, just because of the gross shit, this gets 8 out of 10 things I hate about you.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. 8 out of 10 things I hate about you. Well, I would be agreeing with you to a certain degree. I would say it gets an 8.1 that she was all.
Oh, okay. 8.1. You're 1/10 more than me.
I'm 1/10 of a that. Which if you do the conversion,
it's actually less than what I said.
Yeah, it is. It's actually a 6 things. It's 6 things, but it's 8.1 that's.
Folks, we love hearing from you. Okay?
Thank you.
So we'd love to keep it going. Just give us a shout. battles@filmfightspodcast.com. If you've got ideas for future battles, you want to give us your thoughts, you want to send us your reviews, maybe we'll share them on the show. Who knows? Maybe. Stop bugging me. I mean, go keep bugging me, please. And also, why don't you pop on over to social media? Just, say howdy. Film Fights Podcast, both on Instagram and Facebook. And make sure you're rating and subscribing anywhere you're listening to the podcast.
Yeah, and Reality Records, stop stalking us.
Oh my God, I swear to God, if I do one thing for the rest of my life, Reality Records, it's going to be to shut you the fuck up.
Yes. Please stop telling us to promote our shit on your shit.
If you were doing so great, you wouldn't be jumping onto our fucking social media and begging us to join your thing from different accounts that are robots.
Yeah, seconds. Like, oh boy, you must be true fans.
So in summation, I'm going to burn Reality Records to the fucking ground metaphorically.
In summation, give us a like, give us a follow, give us a review, but be real. Be you.
Yeah. Hey, listen. You can take your glasses off. You can leave them on. You can have a ponytail. You can have overalls. You can wear a dress. You can be a mess. But be yourself and just dare.
Or just be.
Dare to be yourself.
You remember those ads? CKY, CKB. Hey, CKB yourself. And I'm like, whoa.
Bye!
I don't have my inhaler, so I got to use actual oxygen to help me. I'm really nervous right now. Hey, attention people who have asthma, just breathe. You idiots. You don't need Windex going in your lungs just to help you out. So don't
you're lactose intolerant? That's not very woke of you.
Exactly. Anyway, here we go.